God put it on my heart that I should have this lecture. I've taken out the time to make the story as linear as possible so that you all can understand a common nightmare unfolding in the Black community. This is something that you've either been victim of directly or you've been witness of. Ladies and saints, if you have any comments, questions as we go through, or you want to send in tithes or tuition, I encourage you to use the information below, for it cuts out Google, which is a censorship corporation. If you choose, I'd also be thankful if you use the super chat feature. I appreciate those of you who do support my work. And again, I would like to emphasize, do appreciate me while I'm here. Life is precious. Freedom is precious. So let's go ahead and get to this work. Here we go. This is a lecture for men and women, not just for the Black people, for what the Black people in America suffer is being suffered by all of the varieties of man. However, we find that the Black collective, shall we say, if the society at large catches a cold, the Blacks in America catch the flu. So the chief question that'll guide our discussion today is, are you a Black woman destroying a Black man? The answer for many of you is absolutely. But let's dig in a little bit deeper about, how did that happen? You didn't set up that dynamic. You're not the creator of that. Surely you are the executioner. You are a participant. But how did that happen? And more importantly, how do you stop that? How do you stop being a tool of white supremacy? How do you stop being a tool of feminism? How do you stop being a tool of your own foolishness? How do you stop being a tool of the devil? We're going to get into it today, ladies and saints. Oh, pay attention. Let's work. So as you can see here, when women are talking about getting to the bag, they often don't identify which bag it is. But as you can see here, one of those bags is child support. They may think that that bag is full of coin, but that bag is full of emptiness. You cannot replace a man with child support. That bag does not, within it, hold strong relationships. Let's work. So the first question is, how did this dynamic begin? That is to say, the Black man and the Black woman coming together and procreating. Well, it typically starts with the female letting him skeet in her raw because she wants to lock him in and she's disobedient. We're not talking about the positive scenario. We're talking about the most common scenario, which is actually a negative scenario. This is one whereby the man skeets in her because this is the natural thing. This is the natural way. You lay down with a woman. You don't put on a piece of rubber or a piece of plastic. It's the natural way, and it feels better. And men are that simple. And because men, unfortunately, can be indiscriminate, they lay down with women that appeal to the eye. And sometimes men get fooled because everyone lies, but there's levels to it. Males lie about what they have. I have a private jet. I have 5 estates. I have bank accounts all around the world. They lie about what they have. Women lie about who they are. I'm honest. I'm a virgin. This is my first time ever doing this. Yes, I'm single. No, I don't have male friends. I'm civilized. No, I'd never put you on child support. They lie about who they are. Now you must ask yourself, which lie is more damning? Is it a man lying about what he has, saying, I have a private jet? He can actually get a private jet. He can change that. He can change that into the truth. A woman lying about, I'm a virgin, she can't undo what she's already done. A woman lying about, I'm an obedient woman, her character is not about to change. A tiger doesn't change its stripes. So, undoubtedly, the inclination of the woman to lie is far more detrimental. Though, let us be clear, lying on both sides is a bad thing. Here's the comedy: men want an honest woman. Many of you males can't handle it. Women absolutely do not want an honest man. Do I look fat in this dress? They don't want to know. No, they don't want an honest man. In fact, a great many women are turned off by an honest man. In fact, they treat an honest man poorly. Come on now. Yes, I say they don't want a good man. Why is that, Marquett? Because a good man exposes that they are not a good woman. What? A good man exposes that they are not a good woman. Why? Because he makes you live upright. Yes. You have to dress with some level of dignity and class and cover your body, but you've been living in those streets for too long. How foolish is it for a woman to say, oh, why didn't you just tell me to cover up? Why didn't you tell me you didn't like my outfit? I thought you were a grown woman. I didn't know I had to dress you, darling. I didn't know I had to dress you. I don't have any children. Maybe if I had a toddler, a little girl, a little boy, I'd dress them, but I didn't know I had to dress you. I thought I met you as an adult. But more importantly, if I look at your outfit and I think that it's far too revealing, and you looked at your outfit when you went and bought the outfit, when you tried it on in the store, when you tried it on at home, and then when you got dressed before you saw me, how is it that you looked at the same outfit but could not perceive that it was an outfit that makes you look like you're going to work in a job that mostly occurs at night and a job that occurs when you're laying on your back? How come you couldn't perceive that? It's because your soul is tainted. Your soul is tainted. There's darkness within you. That's why you can't see. Everything's dark. You're blinded by your own wickedness. And with all due respect for the lovely women who are watching, every woman has some evil in her. Yes, every woman has some evil in her. I'm here to teach you how to dance with the devil. That's what I'm here to do. You can't get on without them. You need women. If you're a heterosexual man, which means mentally healthy, you need them. But they're evil, and I'm here to teach you how to dance with the devil. There are levels to things, and we will talk about the levels shortly. But let us understand that the ideal relationship is not what we're discussing. We're discussing what happens most often, trying to understand it. And for those who find themselves in these broken situations so that they can operate as best they can, which is to say, though they've done the wrong thing, how do they start to course correct? So understand that it starts with a situation where the male maybe wasn't as responsible as he could have been, or maybe he was tricked and lied to. So understand this, ladies and gentlemen. I've heard a woman say, hey, well, you said you wanted to be with me. No, dear. I wanted to be with who you told me you were. I wanted to be with who you portrayed yourself as. So a wise man may say, hey, hold on, let me pull it back and let me take more time to gather data on you, to learn about you, to study you. I need more time now. Or he may completely discard you. Either way, for a man to not want to be with you is not malicious. It's him making a decision, which is his right. Women will take it as malice if you don't want to be with them. And that's why they come back towards you with such vitriol and hatred. Again, it's the devil in them. If a woman doesn't want me, it is what it is. I tend to not want her. I think, hey, this woman's a bad decision maker. Carry on, love. It was a pleasure meeting. That's all there is to it. But women will often take it as malice. So the procreation of the unwanted child, and so many of you Black children are unwanted children. Yes. By unwanted, I don't mean unwanted by the mother. I mean, because you wouldn't be here if your mom didn't want you. If your mom didn't want you, you would have been aborted. So I mean unwanted by the father. Yes, come on now. I remember when I was coming up, and so many of my friends, they would end up getting these girls pregnant, and they try to tell them like, "Hey, like, no, 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 I don't want this," and the girl would go through with it in many cases. And I always thought that was interesting because I felt like that ensured that the woman would not have a whole family. And I came to understand why they do this as I matured and came to better understand human nature. And as I said, on the male side, it's fairly simple. Either she lied about who she was and he skeeted in her, thinking she was a good woman and thereby a reasonable prospect for wife and mother. Or shall I say, as we talk about in the big game conference, which I highly recommend, it lets you know everything you need to know about women. But he thought she was qualified for the role of wife mother. So she lied about who she was, and then he figured it out, and he said, "Hey, hey, it's not time." Or he never intended to have her as wife mother, and she lied about being on birth control. Or he never intended to have her as a wife mother, and he didn't think she was going to go through with it. But why did she go through with it? Here's why. Females, unfortunately, in this day, they're very promiscuous, especially the black female, and that's around the world. You know, they're all promiscuous of all the colors, the black female uniquely so, unfortunately. And they'll let you skeet in them. And if you're the guy that they really want, they're going to try to lock you in using the child as an instrument, or they're just going to try to take the seed because they feel like this is the best seed I'm going to get. Like this is the highest caliber man I can get. So I'm going to hold on. Now, the difference between male and female mating strategies, you really need to understand this. And thank you for sharing that, Chung. This is where you can get the big game conference. If you need to understand anything about women, navigate the evil, you need this. Trust me. It starts from selection all the way through marriage, kids, divorce, the whole nine. But anyways, with regards to the male and female mating strategies, the male is more indiscriminate. The female increasingly is indiscriminate, also known as promiscuous in the case of the female. However, she's only going to hold on to the seed and try to carry the child to term if she thinks you're the best guy she can get. So the issue occurs because men see, we will sleep with anything. We'll sleep with the ones down here, we'll sleep with the ones on our level, and we'll try to sleep with the ones above our level. Women try to maintain a level and sleep with the guys on their level and the guys above their level. So what happens is a woman, if she gets a guy above her level, she's going to hold on to that baby. She's going to carry it to term no matter what, whether he doesn't like her, whether he doesn't want her, whether he told her not to. She's going to steal that seed because she got a guy above her level. And sometimes they're deluded and they think that they're on that level. And other times they know they're not on that level. And they say to themselves subconsciously and or consciously, this is the best seed I can get. I'm holding on to it. And so be it. It would be fine if we weren't in the hells of North America being controlled by a degenerate, decaying, white supremacist ideology. Because historically, in a natural setting, a man can rule his household, he can rule his family and his woman. So even if the woman is not of great quality, he can still manage affairs. The evil in her will not get out of control such that it's so detrimental to the family structure, the child, the husband, and the peace between the parents. In this situation, we have an unnatural order whereby the woman is able to dominate using the instrumentality of the state, and it's hurtful to all parties involved. So a wise man would not get involved with that. So anyways, you now understand the female mating strategy, and that's why you see these lovely young ladies crowded around this individual, because he's the center of attention, and women crowd toward the top of the triangle. And because the guys at the top of the triangle get their pick, that's how you end up with a future that has all these baby mamas and things like that. And the white supremacist society punishes this behavior. One, because they're trying to limit you and control you, and small, weaker families are better for government control, have you rely on the government as opposed to relying on your family. And we're going to get into it. Let me go ahead and take a pause for the cause, acknowledge the people who support the work. Shout out to Chung, or who became a member. Appreciate you. Shout out to Nicaragua Saint writes, life is precious. Oh, indeed it is. I also acknowledge world. And some people don't value their life at all. Like some of these women, you put a guy on child support, you put a guy on alimony, you take half of his stuff, you take custody of his children. You don't value your life, especially if you're dealing with an honest man, because honest, disciplined men, they may have never committed a crime in their life, but you put them in such a situation to where you might cause a psychological break and they're going to do something that will be tragic. So it's just really unfortunate. Women don't respect the precious nature of their own lives. They think that men are just going to put up with these kinds of behaviors and them using the state against you. Shout out to World Gone Mad. I also acknowledge Cyrus, Peace of the Saints will catch the replay. I also acknowledge Mr. Canton supporting the work. Shout out to those who support the work. I have a whole PowerPoint. I took like 5 hours to put it together. I don't think anyone else ever comes prepared. And even when they are prepared, they still don't sound this good. Let's be real. Shout out to Frank supporting the work. Appreciate you. He's always very consistent. I also acknowledge Ramon. Writes, tuition, peace to the saints. Yes, indeed, peace to the saints. Shout out to Mr. Naeem, writes, peace to the saints. Always happy to show love and support. That's a beautiful thing. He writes, as a Black man, I'm glad, privileged, and honored to see our best mind is tackling this topic. Marquettism is for the kids. Marquettism saves lives. Bro, I'm trying to tell you, man. And this is a great lesson, and this will, in fact, help the kids. Shout out to T. He writes, peace to the saints. Hope you have been well. I've been challenged, but I've still been working hard and I've still been focused. And I've been laying good plans. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. And shout out to all the real men who stand up, make their name known. Shout out to Gene. He writes, you actually don't need women. All they're good for is intercourse. That's not a need. It's a desire. They need men. Well, Gene, I need intercourse. I don't know about you. I mean, you're a different kind of guy, man. Shout out to Gene. I need intercourse. And I also need to procreate. But I also need to be selective about that. Carrying on. So you'll have the women, they'll crowd around the top of the triangle, whether they're qualified or not. They'll steal seed even when the man says, hey, I need to get to know you better. Let's hold off because I observed some red flags. Maybe you dress promiscuous, but you're actually not promiscuous. Give me time to figure that out. Maybe I'm looking at you and you seem like maybe you're a little messy, or maybe you're not following directions. I need more time to observe. Let's hold off on the child. The disobedient woman will do what she wants to do. Now, what they don't understand is that they think when they decide to take a man's seed prematurely and carry a child to term, they think that that's going to lock the man in. But if they're dealing with a strong man who is honest and truly of discipline, and he says, no, I will operate on my terms, on my timeline, and I said, we will hold off. If she goes beyond his mandate, she is unruly and disobedient. And such a man will say, okay, well then you will be a stranger to me for all of your days, you and the child. And women tend to, people tend to, they don't know how to deal with those individuals who are honest. They don't know how to deal with those men who are serious men because they're rare types. You rarely encounter these kind of men who say something one time, they meant every word of it, and they're going to stick to that until the day that they die. Like me personally, I've told women, hey, I'd rather die than pay child support. And what they don't understand is I mean that in a literal sense, not a hyperbolic sense, meaning I will die. I will probably do something to get myself killed, or like I will not pay you anything for any reason. It doesn't matter if it's affordable. It doesn't matter if it's 10 cents. You will get nothing because I said so. Because I will not have the government controlling me. I will not have you controlling me. I will have nothing control me. So I say that to say this. Women will think that they will get you to come around later, or they'll get you to change your mind, basically thinking that they can control you. Stay away from that woman. She's dangerous. And ladies watching this, I encourage you, do not be that woman. Get the man who wants you. Give the man all the time he needs. And if he's not meeting your timeline, find a man who is. But do not deal with a man who doesn't want you, because it's not going to be a happy, healthy family. And most importantly, if you want to be viewed as a wife mother, obey, obey, obey. Full stop. Obey, obey, obey. And I'm using the word obey intentionally. I have excellent diction, a large vocabulary. I have selected the correct word. Okay, let's work. Let's work. So What happens is she steals the seed because she made the choice on her own. Huh? And because she made the choice on her own, now she's about to live on her own. She's setting herself up to be in this situation as a single mother. I prefer the term lonely mother. It might start off all cute when you're having your baby shower, no husband around, no man around, and the baby is just coming out of your body and everyone's excited about the baby and you think your family's going to support you and you got your mom and your dad around, your grandparents, and it starts off nice until it's not nice, until you feel like you need some support, not even financially, emotionally, until you feel like you need some companionship that you don't have. And now it's harder to get because you're a lonely mother. Until your grandparents, who would always, your grandmother who gave you the bad advice. And when you told her, hey, he's saying do this and do that. And your grandmother's like, no, no, and your grandmother tells you what to do, even though she might have been a single mom, or she might have gave birth to a woman and raised her to be a single mom. So you got single moms taking advice from single moms. And your grandmother was happy to watch the kids, except not all the time, and maybe not for free. And so slowly things start to break apart and you become lonely and angry and financially strapped and vindictive. And now all of a sudden, well, where's that sperm donor? Now you're insulting the man in his absence. And now you're trying to find him and hunt him down and hurt him, because your current challenging situation in your mind, you're blaming it on him, but you forgot that you're in that situation because you chose to be. And not only did you choose it, you chose it by yourself. Not only did you choose it by yourself, you chose it in direct contradiction to what he told you to do. So now that you're a single mom, you want to tell him like, hey, you need to come pick up your kids, or you need to come spend some time with your kids. No, actually it's your kid. It's not his kid, it's your kid. Because he said, no kid right now. And you said, oh, yes, kid right now. You chose that. So you cannot command him to be responsible for your decision. And some of you might be sitting there like, well, Marquette, didn't they both decide to have intercourse? They did. But only one decided to have the kid or carry the kid to term. She did make that decision single-handedly. He was against it. Then she starts trying to claw at him for money because she asked for his time and he says, no can do. Because I don't want to be connected to you because you're disobedient, unruly, and problematic. I want to stay away from evil. Wusa, shalalala, shalala. I rebuke you. I smite you. So then she starts to claw at him for what she can claw at him for, right? She can't beat him up. She can't force him to spend the time, but she can force him to spend the money. So then she goes to get her white daddy, Massa, the United States government. So then she brings in this whole superstructure to re-enslave this nigga, hard R, to re-enslave him, yes? She uses the government to re-enslave him. And what does the government threaten? They threaten various levels of slavery, force you to pay all your money. How do you earn the money? Labor. Now you're required to labor. That's forced labor, also known as slavery. Say you don't want to pay your money to the government, to the stinking government, which, yeah, the government will route it to her as child support. But did you know that they take a little bit off the top? So if you pay, say, $1,000 in child support, did you know the girl is only going to get $800? Because the government going to skim their little bit off first? Yes, you're signing him up for slavery. You're cooperating with white supremacy. You are controlling him. You're a controlling woman. And depending on the guy's personality and nature, you're trying to cage something that cannot be caged. And mind you, if you have a question for me, you can use the information below to ask a question for me. Otherwise, sit down, shut up, and appreciate the free game. So use the information below or use the super chat feature. Some beings cannot be caged. They will react very badly, and it will be tragic. In fact, I'll give you one example right here, and there's unfortunately a multitude. And so I say this for the safety of the woman first and foremost. Secondly, for the safety of her family. Thirdly, for the safety of the child that she has. Do not do this in general, but in particular, don't do this to certain personalities. Certain personalities are extraordinarily dangerous when caged. Like, for example, I have one such personality, which is to say that I haven't had a boss in ever. I didn't graduate high school because I didn't mesh with the structure. I didn't show up half the time. I couldn't do it. So I had to test out. I couldn't even do high school. And I haven't had a boss in ever. I travel constantly. I need that freedom of that feeling of freedom. I despise the government. I despise it. I'm a truly freedom loving man. If you were to cage me physically or in any other way, I will start to die. And when human beings start to die and their life doesn't have meaning or their life doesn't have vibrance or color, then their life reduces in value. So they'll trade it in for anything. You see, they'll trade their life in, which means that now your life is worth a lot less. Your life is valueless. Your family's life, the kid's life, nothing has meaning. That person becomes very dangerous. Do not do certain things to certain personalities. It will go badly, okay? Certain personalities are very predictable. Now, check this out. There's a ton of examples. A young lady actually sent this to me last night. She had actually screenshot it, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Send me the link for that. Because it goes right along with this lecture. She didn't know I was doing this lecture. This is from Vegas. Maybe that's why she sent this to me, because I am the mayor of Las Vegas. Do confirm that you can hear this. It's a very short one.
Accused of killing his ex-wife in the Southwest Valley, pleading not guilty. Accused of killing his ex-wife in the Southwest Valley, pleading not guilty to murder charges. According to an arrest report, 38-year-old Royden Dorothy Mendoza.
Okay, now number one, he's 38 years old. You need to be established at age 38. Listen to what this woman does to this man.
And his wife, Malworky Tamayo, were going through a divorce. Police say Tamayo won a custody battle for her.
So number one, a divorce is not supposed to happen in general. It's supposed to be till death do us part. So that's already a disappointment. Then there's a custody battle. This also is not supposed to happen because a man is in charge of his own affairs. No other man is in charge of his affairs. No stranger, no government, no one, not her parents, not your parents. You're the man. You're in charge of your affairs. You're in charge of your woman and your children and your money and your assets. You do not steal from a man. Me, no one steals from me. Not any amount of money. Kid you not. There was a dermatologist tried to send me an extra little bill. I called him up and said, hey, let me promise you that the amount of money you're trying to steal from me, I will spend like 200 times more than that. So let me tell you what I'm gonna do to you. So I said, hey, I'm gonna do this, and do this, and do this to your business. And I'm gonna make sure you don't earn money. And I'm gonna pay this amount and this amount and this amount and do this to you personally. So you could either have that be the case, or you can make this bill disappear because I didn't agree to that. It's a small bill and I can pay it, but I won't pay it. You do not steal from me. And certain people just are not tolerant of things. And you have to understand what you're dealing with. It's the safest thing to understand other human beings. And let me tell you a great skill, ladies and saints. Listening. You have to be able to listen. So few people are able to listen today, mostly because they're dumb. Secondly, because they're narcissistic. So you might tell somebody something and they're like, oh, like that's not true. Okay, don't find out the hard way. So anyways, this gentleman right here apparently got divorced, lost in the courts. And then here's what happens. And mostly this is what happens. The matriarchy that we're in, men lose in the courts.
Divorce. Police say Tamayo won a custody battle for her children, the home, and a truck. The report states that later.
Now, let me ask you guys a question. It said that she won the battle for the house. That's big. You take somebody's house, that's big. Psychologically destabilizing. You take their house. The truck, now he has no wheels. The kids, you took his lineage. And some guys don't care, but apparently he did. You took the house, the car, and the kids, and you got access to his cash. So you took part of that too. What's left? Nothing, not much is left. Now, here's the thing. Maybe if he was 20 years old, it'd be different, but he's 38. So you took everything that he works to accumulate over time. So he experiences a psychological break and then murders you. Why is anyone surprised about that? That makes perfect sense because You remove so many of the things that anchor him to reality, like our shared reality. You remove so many of the things that anchor him to who he is. As a man, we're builders. We accumulate. We work hard, earn things, spend money, build, accumulate. You took all the things that he built. So he is experiencing emptiness, worthlessness, heartbreak, loss of his goods, loss of his loved ones. You took his kids. So I don't know why you thought you wouldn't get. I mean, I'm shocked that you thought you wouldn't get killed. Like me personally, if I just like, let's remove the context of divorce. If I went to a man and I took his love interest, I took his kids, I took his home, like the roof from over his head that he earned, I took his car, I'd be terrified. Like, this is how I know women are nuts. I'd be terrified walking the earth. Like, God, like this nigga, I know this nigga somewhere. Like, bro, definitely is not cool with what I just did. Like, he gonna want some get back. I'd be terrified if I took that much from someone. I've taken a lot less from people and had to fade them. You dig? You take that much. What? I don't know how you could feel safe. It's just complete idiocy. It's idiocy. But that's the psychology of the female, particularly the Black female, when she has the white supremacist, monstrous, oversized, bloated American government that reaches its talons into people's homes and relationships. Come on now. Yeah, man, I have to lock my doors after I did that to a man. Huh? Let me go ahead and take a pause for the cause. Shout out to Marcus. He writes, "Peace to the saints. How do you deal with a woman / mother of your children who is influenced by her lonely mother to operate against you?" There you go. Exactly. So, like the grandma is a single mom, then the grandma's daughter is a single mom, and then her daughter's daughter is a single mom, and they keep giving bad advice. There's not a lot you could do except, and that's why I'm going through this presentation trying to educate women, because what you're forcing the man to do is the few things that are within his control. He can't win in the courts. You're not going to win in the courts. That means that the alimony is going to get him in the divorce. That means the child support is going to get him. He's going to lose custody, and some guys care, some don't. But what does he have left except to bust in your house and choke you out till you stop breathing? Not much else, not much other recourse. That's what I'm telling you. Like, that's why the system is organized so poorly to push people to these extremes. Like, this is not a unique case, unfortunately. Not a unique case at all. Listen to it.
Later that day, Dorothy Mendoza stormed into Tamayo's mother's apartment and then began shooting. Tamayo was pronounced dead at the scene.
Shocker. Shocker. He went in there bussing. Shocker. Listen, I would have expected that if I was her. I'd have been living in Mexico or something. Like, ain't no way I just peeled this ball for hundreds of thousands of dollars and everything that had meaning in his life, and I'm going to just sit back and watch the Steve Harvey show. Like, shorty, that's not going to go well. What were you thinking? It was like complete idiocy. But that's the world we live in. That's the world we live in. And that's the arrangement that has been created, which is an unnatural order. It's an unnatural order. And bro went in there with the yopper and reestablished order. Come on now. People tripping. Like, my mother never took child support from my father, and I respect it. And one part of it, she couldn't, because he was in the pen for the first 10 years of my life. But number two, it's a very clear situation. I truly believe that this is what happened. My father was very popular in the neighborhood. He was a hustler. He was also a bodybuilder. So my father was really yoked out, had him a Jerry curl, which was the thing back then, had the gold crown tooth, you dig? Super well known. He was a hustler, and all the women wanted him. My mom caught him slipping, got pregnant, bro, and he's a hood nigga. He get locked up. She carries the kid to term, which was me. Which, I'm not a dumb person who's like, I want to be here. I'm indifferent. But me personally, I think she made a bad decision. I think it was a selfish decision to carry the child to term when you don't have both parents. It was a selfish decision. I would prefer to not be here than to have someone create a situation wherein there's going to be a lack of structure. If there's no man, there's a lack of structure. It's all bad. Huh? Come on now. But anyways, that's what she did, and that's what they commonly do. They get the guy that's like up there, and then they try to lock in. Now for Pop, like to her, he was up here. Now here's the question: to him, was she up here, or was she here, or was she here? Respectfully, my guess is she was here. He had a lot of options, so he more so wanted to settle down with something else. He was probably just trying to get one in one time, and he did. You did, indeed. Crown writes, ain't it the man's fault for not vetting properly? You'd be better if you vetted better, that's for sure. But if you were paying attention to the piece at the beginning, women lie about who they are. How many women do you think say they're virgins when they're not virgins? In my book, The Black Box, I talk about 4 separate situations where that happened to me personally. And the funny thing is, the 4 that said they were virgins, none of them were. Then I had a 5th one that did not say she was a virgin. She definitely was. Interesting stuff, huh? How many women will lie about their body count? How many women will say that they don't have male friends, and they do? And in fact, they might be sleeping with some of these people. For example, in Nigeria, 1 out of 3 pregnancies, you're not the father. And the results read, Maury says, you're not the father. You can't trust them. They're lying. So when you talk about vetting, you can vet as well as you can try to vet, but when you're being lied to and deceived, like, what can you do? That's why it's important to remove the enormous government, so that when you're lied to and deceived, you still have all the tools at your disposal to manage your affairs with this deceptive woman, to try to manage the evil within her. But also know this, that comment, I hate to say this, but your vagina rate, it ain't high. It ain't high. It's low. I know it's low because as a person who's always had a high number of options and a high vagina rate, I know that at some point I'm gonna get caught slipping, just because, like, there's no way you get into a 300 boxing matches and don't lose one. You don't get into 300 boxing matches and don't lose one. You don't get into 300 boxing matches and don't end up with a black eye or a bloody lip or a busted nose at some point. So you have fewer options. That's why you're more so like talking about vetting, because it's easier for you to vet. You ain't got that much to vet. Or you're a lover boy, to where you actually are like liking chicks and you respect them because, like, within the range of what you're getting, you're like, yeah, whatever. Like, I ain't got options like that. But I know for sure you ain't dripping in it, respectfully, because if you were dripping in it, you'd be in the same mindset that I'm in, that every player is in, which is like, because I'm dealing with such a volume of women, at some point I'm gonna get caught slipping. That's the game. No one fights 300 boxing matches and doesn't get hit. So it's just the difference is that you gotta respect the level that you're on. You hear me? Use a super player, you're gonna get caught slipping. It is you're dancing with the devil. They're all devils, and you're dancing with the devil, like, and you changing partners constantly. You're gonna get caught slipping. It's the guys who, like, they really ain't like that, and they be looking at the guys who are like that, and they're like, well, you should have chose better. It's like the nigga had to choose between 1,000 options. It's hard. You only had to choose between 3 options. You heard me? Your Betty Sue, the cafeteria lady, and old girl that works as a janitor at like the strip mall. Like, you only had 3 options. Like, you barely get laid. So like, how you gonna accidentally have an unwanted pregnancy? You barely have sex. Like, so I just want y'all to understand, like, that's just what it is. I mean, that's just the facts. And I know for sure if them chicks was really on you like that, you wouldn't even ask that question. Because the reason I settle down, the reason I say, like, man, just let me find a woman 24 years or younger who is reasonably moral, dresses modestly, and is obedient, and is reasonably attractive to me, is because I don't want to be in the game. The game is terrifying, to be honest with you, because there's so many deceptive women, and they will lie. For example, I recently went to dinner with a young lady, right? Black chick. Actually African. So I go to dinner with the young lady, and she just knocking back drinks. I'm kind of like unnerved, like, yo, what's wrong with you, shorty? You're a dirtbag. And in my head, I'm like, it's all good. I'm not even going to invest any time with you. I'm going to just move this like super fast so I can get you out the way. Like, I'm be like rude and aggressive just to get you out the way. But see, what lames don't realize is, like, I could be rude and aggressive and she still don't want to leave. So anyways, like, the dinner finishes up And it was just nice to have some company at dinner. When I'm traveling on business, especially, I'm spending like, weeks, 2 weeks alone. Just like I'm mostly just in the room, ordering room service 3 times a day, hustling, grinding. So, anyways, we have finish up the meal. For her, it was more so like the drinks. And then we leave, we get to the elevator banks. And then so I said, come upstairs. She's like, "Oh, I didn't know that you." And in my head, I'm like, "Yeah, you just wanted to come and like drink up my money, like drink all my bank account empty. That's what you wanted to do, and then go home." And then she said, "Oh, I did." While she was still talking, I just turned around, walked away, pressed the button, got on the elevator, and dipped. Right, because it was a easy way for me to just like get her out of the way. You see what I'm saying? So then she texted me, "Hey, I had a great time. Can't wait to see you." And like, I forget what else she said. And then I was like, nah, like I'm good. Like we don't need to see each other again. Uh, we don't need to communicate anymore. She's like, why? Why is that? I said, because I invited you up and you didn't come. So, like we're done here. You missed a good opportunity. She said, "Oh, did you want me to come up? I didn't realize you wanted me to come upstairs. Like, I'll come back." She had already left. She said, "Oh, I'll come back." And I'm like, nah, I'm good. So you see, number one, she's lying. You knew I wanted you to come upstairs because I said, like, come up in English. We both speak English. You knew that, but you were playing games. And then when you realize that I'm not down to play any games, then you're like, okay, now I'll behave. But here's the thing: when you're an immoral woman, you don't get any extra time. You don't get any extra accommodations. Like I'm shooing you away really quickly because to replace you, I just have to let me walk 10 more steps. Let me walk 10 more steps and you're replaced. Let me walk 10 more steps to go to the hotel front desk to print out a document. Hey, can you print out this document for me? She print out the document. You hear me? And hand me her business card with it. Like, oh, that's my personal number. Come on, man. Like you're replaced. I take 10 steps. You disappeared. It's that easy. So they have trouble adjusting to men who are at the top versus men who are at the bottom because they're mostly encountering men who are at the bottom, right? And men who are at the bottom are needy. They hold on to the woman. They're pursuing the woman. They're tolerating the woman. Men who are at the top are like, shorty, get out of my face, you little nut, because you can be replaced so very easily. So what women have trouble understanding is that a successful man is a beautiful woman. Listen to me. In the dating marketplace, a successful man is a beautiful woman. I'm like the way you men look at like a very beautifully shaped 20-year-old, that's what I am to women. You heard me? So I'm like, shorty, get out of my face. Here she is sending them long text messages. Man, I had to archive, shorty. Archive, get up out of here. And they have trouble accepting that. And the worst thing is that they self-esteem be too high. And they think that there's a major value add that they provide when there is not. For me, the biggest value add you can provide, number one, is obedience, which is hard to find. Obedience, number one. Number two is being moral. Morality, which would include modesty and dress. It would include loyalty. It would include a number of things. And above all, you prioritize your man. You obey your man. So the moment you show me you can't obey, we're done. We're done. Because everything else that you think you are that's like valuable is not valuable to me. I don't care how much money you make because you don't want to spend it on me like that anyways. Many of them do actually, but for the most part, like y'all ain't even got that much money. Women will spend it on me, but they ain't even got that much money. So your money don't mean nothing. Your education doesn't mean anything because most of you are still stupid. You got degrees, but you're still dumb. That's a problem. Education didn't fix that. So what's the other thing? Most women are not funny. I know one young lady, very funny, great sense of humor. Shout out to her. I'll be seeing her soon. Great sense of humor. But most of them aren't funny at all. And then here's the fourth piece, which is really valuable to me. Did somebody put, bro, if you don't get up out of here, I want to encourage my moderators. If there's any deviants in the audience, please get them out of there. But taste is another thing. Some women don't have any taste. They don't have any taste in interior design. They don't have any taste in style of dress. Like taste, you can't teach. So it's like, you don't have anything of value. Like kick rocks, shorty. But they be thinking that they're valuable. And it's amazing because they're all like basically the same. They're clones of each other, but they think that they're just like so like valuable. And I just be like, You're wearing a wig. She's wearing a wig. She's wearing a wig. She's wearing a wig. What's special about you? She's broke. She's broke. She's broke. She's broke. What's special about you? You're all broke. You're all wearing wigs. I don't understand. What's the special part? You're all wearing makeup. Like, what's the special part? You're all dumb. Like, none of you are scholars. What's the special part? Like, I'm waiting. Obey. That would be special. And have some morality. That would be special. But you don't have either of those two things, and you still think you're valuable to me. You're not. Please stop it. Please stop. Please stop. May I acknowledge Gene? He writes, further proving my point, consistent ejac is scientifically proven to lower testosterone for 24 hours each time. If that's important to you, man, I mean, man, do you, my boy? I tell you what, generally, I try to limit intercourse, especially if, say, you're living with a woman or you're with her on a regular basis. I just don't have time and energy like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't have time and energy like that. So ideally, if I do it, I prefer it to be like before bed, or I guess in bed, like at night when you're going to sleep, that is, right? So that's the ideal time, because, you know, you exert the energy, then you go to sleep. And then maybe I might need to wake me up every now and then, but, you know, I'm probably looking on an ideal time once you've reached stability with the woman, you're living with her, you're seeing each other regularly. Sign me up for like 4 times a week. Sign me up for about 4. I feel like that's a good balance, keep me productive. We start moving above 4, you're taking too much of my energy and time. It can't go like that. But what I'm not doing, I'm not over here calculating my, you know, units of testosterone. Like that's just like, I don't know. That's not an interest to me. But, you know, if that's a critical thing for you, my boy, do you, do you? We are different. You know, we all have our differences that we ought to respect. And also you want to find a good balance with your lady. I'm gonna go ahead and take a pause for the cause. I got a whole slide deck here. Shout to Marcus. He writes, for the live, peace and saints, how do you deal with a woman / mother of your children? Okay, I already read that one. Sometimes when people don't send them in, I read the same ones because it's unusual, so I get a little bit tripped up, so please forgive me. Shout to Jonathan. He writes, when you were on your ascent financially in those 1 to 2 years focusing on being successful, did you have a singular focus, or did you live a balanced life still? I was living a balanced life. Listen, here's the thing. I've always had women. Women have always been a part of my life. I'm trying to think of a good comparison that you guys can understand. Say like Floyd Mayweather, right? His father was a boxer. So he was trained up in boxing his whole life. It's like one of the things that he knows well. He breathes it in. He exhales it. It's effortless. It doesn't take a lot of energy. It's muscle memory. It's inherent. It's a part of him. It's like that. Like I was always favored by women. I was raised by super players. Like it wouldn't make sense for me not to have women around. And here's the difference. Women have always served me really well. They've been very helpful and useful. I was probably successful faster and bigger because of women. Now, I've not been a person who's been suffering because of women. I've been good at managing them, and I've been blessed to have good women around me and mostly dodge them. I mean, at my age, to have reached my age with no children, no unwanted pregnancies, that's a hell of a trick, especially when you come from the gutter. It's a hell of a trick. So it's been managed quite well. But anyways, he writes, I ask because I am a person that gets distracted and I want to be extremely successful. Well, here's the thing. And you guys should be able to put this together. I guess that's why I'm here. Okay. That's why the big homie is here. So check this out. Say you want intercourse, right? But you don't have a woman. Say you want companionship. You want the human touch. You want to lay down with the woman, but you don't have that. You're going to be thinking about that. That's a distraction from work. You're going to be yearning for it. You might be seeking it. Those are all distractions from work. You'd be less distracted if you put in the short amount of work to get the woman so that when you have needs, she satisfies them, kills them, and then you can get to business. And it's also more human. All of, women have a cycle that we know about. Men don't understand the cycles that they have. And you let this desire build up, and you don't want to implode, my boy. You don't want to implode. Anyways, and understand this, it's men are acting as though dealing with women is always a negative. It's more so their inability to know how to select the woman, how to approach the woman, what to say, how to convert, being honest with her, minimizing their investment so that they don't get crushed. That's what the big game conference teaches you, how to do all of those things so that you're managing your ladies and your relationships in a similar way to, you manage your stock portfolio, you manage your real estate assets, you manage your businesses. This is all it is. Is another thing to manage. But the problem is you guys don't have the management skills. Get the big game conference, figure out how to do it. Because if you leave that empty in life, you're going to be imbalanced. You're going to implode. It's not going to go well. Trust me. There you go. Big game conference right there. Highly recommend it. It was a 2-dayer. And I did it because the truth is, while you guys are spending time avoiding women, which is stupid, women and what you're going to build with a woman, be that a business, a family, a relationship, that is one of the bigger parts of your life. You'd be a fool to miss out on that. I'm telling you. No, I can't help you because you don't want to help yourself. At the bottom of the screen, it says send in $20 to ask your question. So you don't expect to actually get an answer. You're throwing darts in the dark. You're not serious. So you're not broke, you're lying. If you were broke, you should be applying for jobs right now, or you should be at a job. So use the $20, ask a serious question, which means take yourself serious as a man, or sit down and shut up. But don't lie, don't describe yourself inaccurately, and don't like pump fake. Shoot the goddamn 3-ball and try to, hit all net, or don't shoot the ball at all, but stop playing games. It's not manly. Like, do it or don't do it. Like, God damn. I hate to be around jokesters. Like, be serious with yourself. Shout out to Gene. He writes, you're right. I shouldn't calculate it. It's only your entire life force. I hear you, Gene. I hear you, Gene. Shout out to Sire. He writes, had to stay up for this game. The ism gave me energy. I'm trying to tell, and that's the key to life when you're doing the right things, when you're around the right people. And that's why if a chick is disobedient, she's a devil. I can't have her around me. You heard me? Yeah, there's nothing that'll have her around me. There's nothing that'll have me collaborate with her. There's nothing that'll have me forgive her. There's nothing that'll have me pay her. I'd rather kill. I'd rather die. You heard me? No, sirree, Bob. I ain't compromising. And don't try to make me. Shout out to Gene. He writes, speaking of Floyd Mayweather, he has said himself he didn't have intercourse leading up to fights. He's also said that he's had much intercourse leading up to fights. You must not be that big of a fan. Also, you said you were better because of women. That's a fact. Please describe what you've done that you couldn't have done without women, and how. That's a great question. One of the things I'm terrible at is email communication. I actually absolutely hate emailing. I hate having to read them. I hate emailing. It's one of my great dispassions. You know what I mean? But the point is, when I was early in my business, I had my ladies doing my emails, which was not only just basic communication, but also email marketing, emailing leads. I had them setting up all of my appointments. Like, are you kidding? I had them booking my travel. I had them operating as salespeople and as assistants. It multiplies your ability to work, and it's free labor. The idea that you're so like emotionally in your head that you can't pick up on that, like, that's not good. You need Boss University. Don't get the big game conference. That ain't for you. You ain't ready for that. You need Boss University because you're twisted up in here. You're twisted up in here. You got to get this untwisted. The more we understand ourselves, we understand our hangups, we understand our challenges, we can begin to untie those knots and have a level of flow, have peace and happiness. And we stop believing in, nonsense. There's Boss University. Like, for example, a dumb broad will believe in like astrology and tarot cards and mythology and spirituality, but men they'll make the manosphere BS red pill nonsense. They'll make that into their spiritual beliefs, and it's errant. The red pill is filled up with idiotic nerds, and they know not. Carrying on. Look at G right here. He said, so basically they were glorified assistants. So here's the thing. I answered his question, but he didn't like the answer, right? So he basically asked me, well, what could you have not done with them? So then I said, when I was early in my business, I could not hire 3 salespeople. I couldn't hire, people to manage this and manage that. So they were able to bring in revenue. And mind you, I'm talking about women that brought me in like at least $500,000 directly. I'm talking about directly from operating in a business development capacity, bringing in money directly through closing deals or setting up the meeting where I close the deal, at least $500,000 minimum. So I answered his question. And because he's so like tied up on his hangups, his emotional hurt, then he says, so they're basically glorified assistants. Call it what you want. I call it $500,000 in direct value and much more in indirect value. But you can call it what you want. But I want everyone to know that the more you get like tied into your negativity and your negative emotions, you shut off your brain from learning, you shut off your brain from experience, and you will suffer. You will remain in the little ditch that you're currently in. Boss University, I think, would be a good thing to lighten you up, because you guys will never see me come on here and be like, oh, it looks like he had a bad day. I have bad days sometimes, just like anybody else. But think about it, in the 1,000 odd live sessions, have you ever saw me come on here moping? No, you saw me come on here and spit straight piff. You heard me? I show up and spit straight crack every time. You wouldn't look at me and be like, oh, he had a rough day. He had a bad day. Or you wouldn't look at me like today and be like, oh, he's been up for 36 hours, which is a fact. You couldn't tell that, because I come in to perform and deliver, and I can control my mindset and I can control my emotions. And I also don't have these hokey ass beliefs. Like the people are thinking like testosterone is like a spiritual chemical. Like, you'll be all right. You can have intercourse with women. You'll be all right. Trust me. You'll replenish yourself. It's like money. You spend it, go make more. Don't count on everything like running out. Don't live from a scarcity mindset. May I acknowledge the bowler alert? Shout out to Trader SZ writes, was disappointed in Floyd when he was posting his support for Israel, committing indeed. He even donated to them. I believe it. Shame he didn't support Palestinians. Seemed like money comes before humanity for some. Yeah, for a lot, man. I mean, for a lot. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, listen, if money didn't come before humanity, women wouldn't be fleecing guys for child support. Huh? Come on now. They don't respect the humanity of that man. They don't respect the sanctity of the bond with the man and the bond of family. They're going to strangers, to the government. Come on. Cash rules everything around me. A lot of people are controlled by the mighty dollar, the almighty dollar. Shout out to Mr. Naeem. He writes, peace and saints. It's sad that women choose to take the position of our mortal enemy like this. Yes, indeed, it is. May this goofy broad rest in piss. Listen, I agree, bro. 1,000%. Shout out to Alfonso, writes, peace of the saints. Thank you for blessing us with a late night live. We appreciate you. Thank you. And I appreciate you. And shout out to the real ones who actually do appreciate me. The ones who show up, they hit the like button straight away because I've never not delivered. The ones who send in their tuition before the live stream even starts because I always come prepared. The ones who share the content, the ones who are really serious about this ism. I thank you all. I appreciate you. I respect you. And it's a pleasure to work with you. Shout out to Saraki or Sarakai writes, there's a good chance I'll be moving to South Korea in the next few months. Knowing you lived in South Korea, did you have any unique experiences with women there? Well, yeah, I mean, South Korean women are pretty well kempt, reasonably attractive. There's a ton of plastic surgery, so you'll never know what they really look like unless you get those kid pics. But unless you're in, say, Itaewon, you're not going to encounter a ton of Korean women throwing themselves at you. They're more reserved, and they're primarily sticking to their own or pursuing white guys. So if you're not white, it's a different game. If you go to Itaewon, you're going to be dealing with women who are used to dating American military men. They're looking for foreigners. And to me, that's a lot less interesting. I prefer the women who are traditional, the ones who want to stick with their own. Those are the ones that have values. That's what I recommend that you pursue. You can definitely get some kills in, but for sure, it's not going to be mass murder out there. No, it's going to be more like sniper fire. If you are at that stage in life where you want to rack up some kills, I would not recommend South Korea at all. Otherwise, it's a fine society. You will very much so enjoy it. Shout out to Mirage, writes Marquett, misspelled my name. Thank you. Thanks for doing what you do and standing up for Palestine. I hope you call us complacent Muslims out everywhere. Much love, brother. I appreciate you. Peace of the saints. Assalamu alaikum. Yes, I'm building a training center. You might not know this, Mirage. And the reason I'm building a training center is because, of course, the Muslims are complacent, but also the kuffar. You don't have to follow the Deen of Islam to understand right and wrong. And as we observe what's happening in Palestine, we must understand that the Zionists are using Palestine as just one step in an ultimate plan, a plan that would carve out some of Syria, a plan that would carve out some of the Holy Land of Saudi Arabia. And if we do not act, we will all suffer. I say we as humanity. The Zionists already control the United States government. We can't let them penetrate all the other governments of the world. And so we must take action. But we have to understand that for us to take action, we have to understand ourselves. We have to understand the enemy. We have to change culture. We have to remove adult content. We have to remove the poisons and intoxicants that we consume. We have to be close knit. We have to have real families. We have to have real in-person relationships, because the Zionists, they control the social media, they control the legacy media. And that's why I'm building the training center, to have that hub for people to come to, so that they can never cancel us, they can never silence us. It's on private property. People come in, they get to learn, they get to build relationships. That's the thinking behind it. You have to teach the revolution, you have to give the revolutionary knowledge. And so this is the first hub. And my hope, inshallah, is that it's very well funded quickly, and then we can create the model, and then we can expand it, because you have to teach people so that they can understand, because the Zionists operate in the shadows. They're very clever, but also know that everything that is allowing the Zionists to be successful, we have to create the analog to fight the Zionists. So if the Zionists have the Mossad and they have intelligence services, we have to have an intelligence service. You see, if the Zionists have propaganda, we have to have counter propaganda. And this will not come into existence without organization. Thank you for that support. Magnar Solus, very consistent supporting. Shout out to Jugga, writes, just would like to thank you for the ism you give. Congrats on your success with Fletch. Peace and sense. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. And, Fletch was such a beautiful memory, because it took me around the world. I mean, just imagine being fortunate enough to create a business that allows you to go around the world to speak on big stages where people want to hear your perspective and they don't even speak your language. It was just such a pleasure, and I'm thankful that I was able to do that. It was really hard work, and if I could do it again, I probably wouldn't, but it was a beautiful thing. Shout out to Daryl. He writes, peace and saints, are you in Rwanda for a short time? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. May I acknowledge? Oh yeah. So Mr. Sarakai, or Saraki, he writes, was it basically the same with women everywhere else? No. No, the South Korean women are a little bit different. No doubt about that. Shout out to Melvin supporting the work. He writes, tuition, got the black box on ebook and audiobook. Thank you. Peace of saints. Peace of saints indeed. I appreciate that. And you're going to love the audiobook. For those of you who haven't listened to the audiobook, I narrate it myself. Most authors don't do that. And you can go to thesassin.com, thesasn.com, click products, scroll all the way down, make sure it says audiobook, and that'll be the one. It really comes to life when you can hear the voice of the characters, because every culture has a specific tonation and a manner of speech. It'll really bring it to life for you. Now, also acknowledge Christian. He writes, they are mentally unstable because their hormones are not in line with what is natural. Many Black women struggle with being overweight, which often contributes to imbalanced hormone levels. Oh, I agree. And also the Black females, they're using all these chemicals on their scalp, penetrating down to their brain, no doubt. And these toxic chemicals put their health in grave danger, and also their children that they're carrying. It's really unfortunate. And women in general are overwhelmed by the cosmetic industry, which victimizes their weak psychology. And their psychology would be much better off if it was under a man, but we're in an unnatural order. And that is what we are seeking to correct, to establish the natural order. You see, if they were in the natural order and they were obedient, I tell my women, don't wear makeup. I don't like makeup. Don't wear false nails. I don't like false nails. Don't wear high heels. I don't like high heels. I like a natural woman. Imagine how much I just saved her life. No chemicals on her skin. No fake nails on her fingers. All poisons. No trouble with her physiology because of the awkward position that you stand on when you're in high heels. It's going to make her last better over time. Hmm? Gentlemen, further rights. The use of synthetic hormones, such as he names one here, in Plan B or estrogen, progesterone, in birth control, can further interfere with ovaries' natural hormone regulation. Oh, absolutely, it does. There's no doubt about that. And even their diets. There's one young lady, and it really saddened me to see this. And it just lets me know that A, she's inherently disobedient, and B, she just lacks self-awareness. And a lot of these things, it'll come from your parenting. And what we have to acknowledge is that, of course, your parents develop the foundation of who you are and the society around you. But a good female will come to you and let the man, her husband, put the finishing touches on, put the finishing touches on, the way she conducts herself. So I observed a woman who was pregnant eating French fries, and I just, wanted to just drop a gem on her. I said, hey, I've trained for boxing matches, and when I would have to drop weight, I had to use, pretty careful calculations, and reduce my caloric intake. And I was really shocked at how unhealthy French fries were, such a high calorie intake. It's really unhealthy. I didn't realize it. She's pregnant, eating French fries, fried foods, and just carried on eating it. And what it would tell you is that, knowledge is not penetrating, that the ingrained poor decisions and poor health decisions are not going anywhere. Yielding to a man or yielding to someone who's knowledgeable is not going to happen. And these are the small things that you'd want to observe in a woman and say, oh, okay, I understand you. And I don't like what I understand. I don't like what I understand, because women will lie to you. If they want you, they'll say that they're obedient when they're not obedient, or they'll say that they can become obedient when they cannot. And unfortunately, sometimes they're not only lying to you, they're lying to themselves. Huh? Come on now. Let's talk about it. I've seen too much. Christian comes back. Okay. Um, yeah, he goes on about birth control and the unfortunate effects. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Pharmaceuticals are generally things to avoid. Shout out to Darren. He writes, message sent to email. Let's see what you got for me. He writes via email, you're preaching tonight, Saint. Please accept this tithe. I appreciate you. And shout out to Darren. He's a real one. He's been rocking with me for a long time. He writes, question. A 6-year-old African-American girl has recently been recognized having the same IQ as Einstein. I saw that. If she were one of yours, how would you raise her up to be an exceptional young woman while also maximizing her potential? Is there any particular area of study you'd want her to focus on? Peace of the Saints. Oh, absolutely. For me, the only critical areas of academic study are those that are science-based, software-based, engineering-based. And so I'd have her definitely knee deep in those subjects to figure out if she had any particular talent for them. Ironically, when you observe women, females who are high IQ, often they tend to not end up producing very much. But even some men who are supposedly very high IQ don't produce very well. Frankly, I think it's important to be able to turn a big brain into a big bank account. I think that's a good trick to figure out. But I'd have her deep in those disciplines, but I'd also have her learning how to plant fruits, vegetables, nuts, and how to manage chickens and cows and things of that nature, and let her know that the purpose of a female's life is family. And if you do not have a man in your life, you do not really have a family. You have something that is broken and incomplete. So I'd let her know, skill up so you can be an even greater value add to a man who is even greater than you are. You're a phenomenal woman, phenomenal female is going to grow into a woman. And I want you to be so legit that a man will never refuse you. But as smart as you are, I want you to be obedient. And for you to be a high IQ female and be obedient, find a man who has a higher IQ than you do and make sure that you're worthy when you present yourself so that he will happily take you on, and obey him. Absolutely obey him, because when you leave my house as a father, you're going into your husband's house. As a real man, I will respect your husband, meaning that once you are in his house, you are not in my house. He is your protector. He is your leader. He is your final word. I will respect his word over your word because your word needs to go through him now. Huh? So I'll make sure that she understands that. People have even asked me in the past, they say, hey, Marquette, what would you do if your daughter's husband hit her? I would ask her, do you want to stay in his home or do you want to leave his home? If she says she wants to leave his home, then I will collect her belongings and I will respectfully ask him to, help me pack her up and take her out of there. You wouldn't do anything? Do what? He hit his wife. It was his wife. Now that he has released her, she's my daughter. So if he hits her now he's going to have an issue. But at the time he struck her, she was his wife. She signed up for that. She signed up to be in his house. She was not in an arranged marriage. She was in not only a free society, she's in a matriarchal society. So if that's who she picked, that is what she will be subject to. And if she picked well and I signed off on him, I'd be more inclined to ask him why he did it before I ask her why he did it. Come on now. Let's talk about it. Yeah, let's talk about it. Thank you for that question. I acknowledge Alfonso writes, my apologies, I was not aware of the new minimum. Got to hold the standard. He came in with another 50 piece. Now he's at a baller alert. Shout to the ballers. Shout out to the ballers. Yes, indeed. The baller alert is at the $100 level and he's officially balling. Shout out. Appreciate you. Boy, it's crazy how many scams be going on. I tell you, Apple be billing me for apps I didn't buy. Good Lord. Shout out to Quack came in. He writes, peace of the saints. Appreciate you. Shout out to Quack. Good to see you. I also acknowledge Happy Jays. Oh, he came in before the stream. So I do want to acknowledge Happy Jays. He was the very first person to come on, came in before the stream started. And that warms my heart. To be honest with you, when I see people come in supporting before the stream starts, it's a vote of confidence in me. And I really appreciate that because I'm always showing up to show out. I never show up like, oh, I'm going to just do this live stream real quick. I never come in with that mentality, not one time. I never come in with a mentality of, oh, this is popular, this is trending, I'm going to just talk about it because everybody else is talking about it. I never do that. For example, the Sadia Khan thing. I didn't do a live session on that because I was like, I don't care about this broad. Even though that would have got huge viewership, I'm thinking evergreen. I'm thinking I could talk about this gossip, but if you come back to that video a year later, what value would you get? Not much. So I was like, I'm not going to talk about that. So I show up to really deliver for you guys.